The integumentary system, or skin, has two different components, the epidermis and the dermis. Deep to the dermis, however, is the epidermis. The epidermis isn't technically part of the integument, but it plays a vital role in the integumentary system. There are many functions of the integument. Some of them include protection of underlying tissue against water loss, bacteria, and impact, excretion of salts and water, and the production of melanin, which helps protect against harmful UV radiation. There are 5 layers to the epidermis. There are epidermal ridges and dermal projections that extend into the dermis. These ridges are what help give strength and surface area, and they are part of the deepest layer of the epidermis, which is called the stratum basale, and this layer helps form a strong anchor between the epidermis and the dermis. Superficial to the stratum basale is the stratum spinosum. This layer contains 8 to 10 layers of keratinocytes, which are the most abundant epithelial cells, which contain a large amount of the protein keratin, and keratin is what makes up our hair and nails. This layer is referred to as the spiny layer because of the shrinkage of the cells. Superficial to the stratum spinosum is the stratum granulosum. In this layer, cells have stopped dividing and they have started producing large amounts of the protein keratin. Covering the stratum granulosum is the stratum lucidium. However, this is only found in the thick skin of our palms and the soles of our feet. Cells in this layer are flat and densely packed, and they contain keratin. At the exposed surface of the skin is the stratum corneum, and this layer is the formation of the protective superficial layers of cells filled with keratin. Stratum corneum is water resistant. However, water evaporates into the air, and this happens in 2 different ways. It happens through insensible perspiration, which is the process of losing about 500 milliliters of water each day, but we're not really aware of it because we don't see or feel the water loss. So like sitting in class, we're evaporating water. And then it is also through sensible perspiration, which is also the process of water loss, but through sweat glands, and we were able to see and feel this water loss, like going to class on a 110-degree day carrying your backpack. Not fun. There are 2 types of sweat glands, and they are also called sudoriferous glands. One of them is called aberrant glands. They are found in the axillary, nipples, and the pubic region. The aberrant glands secrete products into hair follicles and are coiled, and they begin during puberty. There are also areocrine glands. These are also coiled, but they secrete directly onto the surface of the skin, and they are far more numerous than the aberrant glands. In the epidermis, there are 2 different kinds of pigments. There's keratin and melanin. Keratin is an orange-yellow pigment that accumulates in the stratum corneum and in the adipose tissue of the hypodermis. That is the pigment that makes our adipose yellow. Melanin is the other pigment, and it is produced by melanocytes, and there are 2 different types. There is a red-yellow pigment called pheomelanin, and then a brown-black pigment called emelanin, and every person has the same amount of melanocytes, but they have a different amount of melanin, so depending on how much melanin depends on how dark or lightly colored skin you have. Melanin is actually what protects our epidermis and dermis from ultraviolet radiation. A little bit can help our body because it helps produce vitamin D, which is vital to us, and then however too much of it, of ultraviolet radiation, will harm the skin by causing mutations, damaging the DNA, and ultimately promoting the development of cancer. And that is the functions of the integumentary system.